Okay, so what I want to show you guys today is just some ways to modify some of the mods that we're going to be using. Allison created everything that I'm using. I just wanted to show you guys some ways that you can sometimes mold these to meet your needs. So this is all hypothetical. None of this is a spread I'm creating, but it might be something that you eventually create. So I just want to make sure you're aware of how to do it. So what you see on the screen in front of you is a template. I just picked a random one just with mods. Obviously, if you guys were designing these on your own, you would have pre-planned like what you want those mods to look like and the sizes of them, but sometimes you need to fit something in a mod that is a shape that is not the same shape as what you want in the library. So that's what I'm going to show you, because ultimately, like what Allison has created and the other editors have created are just options, and you can bend them to meet your needs really in any way you want. It's important that our fonts stay the same and the spacing and things like that, so things look consistent and the book cohesively works together. But ultimately, like those smaller packages don't have to stay the same, as long as they still meet some of the design standards. So all hypothetical again. What I'm going to try to do is fit a step-by-step, which I'm going to turn into a quote collection, into this square. So the one that I'm going to choose to use um, is not the actual size it needs to be. So if I open up my library, which is over here. Hopefully you guys already have that on your computer. And I'm going to zoom in. I want to fit it into this square. I'm going to pick this step-by-step right here just because I like what it looks like. I like the numbers. It just looks clean to me, and it fits my needs for the quote collection that I'm using. So I'm going to pull this on over. And you can already see it's not going to fit in that square. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop it in. And I'm going to move it so it at least fits the borders. So I've got it fitting at the top and the sides. But then I say, oh, I've got all this space down here, and I've got more space over here to work with. So what do? So I have a couple of options. The first option is I'm just going to delete the bottom one, and I'm going to use the extra space for a small headline and a blurb. The other option, if I don't need a headline and a blurb, is I can just extend some of this. So I'm going to show you both ways. For starters, one thing that you have to do is ungroup this mod that has already been created. So you can tell it's grouped because it's outlined with these, like, we call these marching ants, except they're not marching, they're like little ants. Just come up to the object menu in the top and click on ungroup. And now they're all separate pieces of, well, they're all just their own pieces. So the first thing that I'm going to do is delete the bottom one. So if I take this and I just click on each individual piece and delete it, then I'm automatically saving my space at the bottom. Okay, these squares would be for photos eventually if I wanted to use mugshots or something like that, or if I was going to do a step-by-step. Either way, it doesn't matter as long as I'm filling that in with what I need. So already I've gotten it to fit in this box, and then if I wanted to include a smaller headline and a blurb, I can either put it on the right side, or I would actually consider putting it on the left side. So I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to move it over to the right. And then I'm going to find a small headline. Let's see. Let's use. Let's see if this will work. This might be too big. Oh, that's perfect. So I'm going to use that little headline there, and I can adjust that to meet the size that I need to. And then I'm also going to grab a blurb. Oopsies, sorry. I'm going to grab a blurb, and I'm going to stick that underneath. So all I had to do essentially was delete one of the numbers down here so that it fits. I would have to probably change like my spacing on some of this and my sizes just because that's a little bit close. So that would have to be adjusted. And then the other thing that I'd probably want to do is make this right aligned. So I would highlight this. And I would eventually right align it so that this over here is flush to my straight line here. The other thing that I could do if I did not need a blurb and a headline, there's a couple of things I could do. I could make one of these bigger, so I can just take a picture and copy it. And then make it bigger, and then maybe I put like a quote underneath of here. which would be fine. So it's almost like I have a standout one. I'm just copying everything the same so that I make sure that all of my style stays the same. I'm going to bring this to the front so I can see it, and then I would fill that in as needed. So that is an option. If I don't like that, though, I can also just extend these a little bit. So if I know that I'm going to have like some super long quotes or something like that, I'm just basically going to make everything longer so that it fills this box. So all I have to do for that is to change the size of this box. Move my text over, make it bigger so I can put words in it, and then I do the same thing with each of these. Basically just do the same thing. So then I do the same thing with the bottom too, so now it's taking up the whole box. Still the same style, still looks the same, it just fills up the whole box for me. So hopefully that makes sense. That's one example, but you can honestly do that with any of these. So same thing, I'll just do a quick one more example for you. If I wanted to use a Q&A, I want to pull this Q&A over. And it doesn't exactly fit in my box. I might just have to adjust some of the sizes for this one, so that's an easy fix. But if I wanted to, if I wanted to fit something like that in one of these small boxes, which is also an option, I would pull that on over and maybe just leave it to the side because I want to use all of the elements, but I want it to fit in this vertical mod right here. All I have to do then is bring it over and really just kind of make it fit. So I would change the sizes of all of this probably, and then retype my text so that it fits in there. I would get my photo in here to fit however I wanted, maybe even at the bottom so that they're standing out a little bit. And then I can put my little lines across here. This is part of the photo. I just didn't take it. Sorry about that. And then I put some more text. These are actually the wrong fonts, but I think you get the point. And you can put your answers in here. Just so that it fills your space. So you just have to basically customize everything to meet your needs. So just a quick hint for you guys, when you're building these mods, these gray boxes, I know they seem a little bit annoying, but they do really help you guys just line things up and keep things so that our spacing is consistent and everything looks clean. And then as far as margins go, which I think Allison and Connor taught you, but if you click the W, it shows these purple borders. You don't want any of your elements unless it's something that's going to bleed off the page to go beyond the purple border, so just keep that in mind. And I think that should give you enough ideas for how to build your own mods.